Hi YouTube, Rose here. So I want to make this vlog about what it's like to go back to work after maternity leave. My son was born in March and I just went back to work on Friday, June 8th. So the first things first is leaving the baby. I was so nervous about that. Before Friday, I hadn't been away from Leo, my son, for more than an hour, and I was worried that he was going to miss me and cry all day, and I was leaving him with his dad, and I was worried that dad was going to be overwhelmed, but it turned out just fine, and they both did just fine. Leo slept a lot, dad got a little bit of time to himself, but was still a little overwhelmed, but everything worked out. So I missed him when I was there, and I thought about him a lot, but it wasn't as bad as I had expected. I was still able to get some work done and enjoy some of my time at work, not being too thinking about Leo too much. So leaving the baby is hard, but they will be okay as long as you leave them with a good caretaker or parent. The other thing that's hard is figuring out childcare. We went with family. His two grandmas and dad are going to be watching him throughout the week so that we don't have to pay for childcare, which is really nice because it can get really expensive. So that was something I worked really hard on while I was on leave, and it was great to have in place once I went back. Another thing that's hard is getting back on a schedule. So for 3 months, other than doctor's appointments, I could pretty much do whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. I could wake up, go to bed, all that, as long as it fit in with the baby's schedule. So going back and having to get up at 7 a.m., which felt like 2 a.m. at this point because I was getting up at like 10 and 11 with the baby, was exhausting and a little bit hard. Also, I was so used to having the whole week to do whatever I wanted that taking 3 days out of that was hard to adjust just for chores, and I run a food service meal prep thing, and trying to fit that into my schedule was just a little bit challenging. So this week I'm really going to have to work on that before I go back to work. And also, I only work 30 hours a week, fortunately, because I asked my job what full-time was, and 30 hours is the minimum. So 10 3-hour shifts a week is how much I'm going to be working. But on Wednesdays, I'm going to be the grocery shopper, and I go to the staff meeting, but I can have Leo with me. So there's only 30 hours in a week that I have to worry about childcare, and that's really nice. So actually being at work. Like I said, at first I was worried about Leo a lot, and I missed him, but after a little while I was able to really get into things, have some fun with the youth I work with, and it was strange to have my hands free for so long. I was used to getting maybe a half an hour or an hour here and there to myself, but now there was no baby there, and I could frost a cake or make a meal and not have to worry about checking on him or stopping and breastfeeding him, that kind of thing. So that was kind of nice. It was also nice to be with my coworkers and have adults to talk to during the day. When I was on leave, I had to wait until my husband got home, and sometimes I'd just be like, I want somebody to talk to. So it was nice to hang out with them. The one I was working with is a mom, so we had lots of fun talking about mom stuff like poop and diapers and all that fun stuff. Lastly, breastfeeding. So I am a breastfeeder, which was great when I was on maternity leave. He fed on demand, meaning whenever he wanted, I fed him. So once I went to work, that was a bit of a challenge. I had 50 ounces of milk saved up in the freezer, And before I went to work, I thought that that was so much, and I was like so ahead of the game, and that that was gonna last him for a while, and I was wrong. Oh my god, I was so wrong. After taking 10 ounces to my mom's house and a few ounces to his mom's house for when he's there, and then the first day of work, he drank 30 ounces of milk while I was gone. So I came home and there was like 5 ounces left. But I had pumped while I was at work. So I had enough for the next day. But now I see that this week, even while I'm at home, I need to be pumping and putting it away so that there's a surplus when I go back next week for him, because he's a big eater. Remind you guys, he's only 11 weeks old and he's drinking 30 to 40 ounces a day. So, and the first morning, he did not want to wake up at 6:30 and let me feed him. So I pumped in the car. That is right. I pumped my breasts in the car, in traffic, on my way to work, and on my way home from work. People looked at me, people were like kind of trying to see what I was doing, and then I just give them a dirty look and be like, mind your business, literally stay in your lane, please. But yeah, I pumped in traffic just to make sure that I had enough milk for my son for the next day, because I was worried if I didn't, that he was going to drink it all when I got home and there'd be nothing left for me to put away. So that was a fun experience. I don't necessarily, I'm not going to say you should, because technically you shouldn't be doing it when you're driving, but it is a good time saver. And as long as you're careful or it's slow traffic, it's not a big deal. However, when I get home and see my son, he's like so happy to see me and he wants to breastfeed right away, and it's nice to feel missed, you know? Coming home to my son and my husband and them missing me after a long day of me being gone is nice, because I spent so much time with my son that why would he miss me? I'm always there. So it's nice to be reminded that you're wanted and missed and loved. That's about all I have. That's my experience with going back from maternity leave. I'd love for this to be a conversation, so feel free to post about your own return from leave and what leave was like for you, and comment with any questions that you have. You can find me on Instagram at plant-based_Mama Rose, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, YouTube.